invited testimony, and then they do public testimony all at the same time. Because of the nature of how substantive these bills are, it's the main bills that Senate Finance Chairman Jane Nelson has put forth with reducing the rates on the franchise tax, reducing property taxes, and all the other bills that other senators have filed, taking shots at the franchise tax, either just a flat-out repeal or phase-outs or reducing the rate, anything and everything essentially relating to tax relief. Today, they're going to be hearing the bills and laying them out, but they're not going to be doing public testimony until tomorrow. So it's a little bit different today just because they have such a huge docket for today. Definitely highly encourage you, if you're around today, to go sit in on it, hear the bills that are being discussed, and if you're around tomorrow as well, go testify on those bills as well. Any other questions before we break for today? Okay. Questions going once?
Completely separate issue. Has anybody heard anything about or know anything about the bill to change the Texas primary date?
They were talking about that in elections committee yesterday. Was their first organizational meeting, and it lasted literally about 20 minutes. And Fallon and Phelan were talking to the Secretary of State resource witness, but just they were asking how much voter turnout, if it's increased since the early voting has increased. I think you can look back to the committee hearings; it'll be archived on TLO to see what they were talking about. But basic theme was primary. Texas has like the longest primary. Wrong primary. The Democrat and Republican national conventions have said moving the presidential primary up, they were going to do lots of sanctions, heavy sanctions on the parties. And that Secretary of State guy said that he had talked to both the RPT chairman and the Democrat Party of Texas chairman, and they were essentially in agreement that March 1st would be the earliest date because they didn't want the sanctions from the national parties. That's literally all they talked about yesterday, but you can look back, it wouldn't take very long to look back and listen to the elections archives for that. So
I think as of now they're looking at March 1st or 2nd.
Yeah, that was like the latest. What I gathered yesterday, my knowledge is just off of what I heard yesterday, and that seemed to be the reasoning because of whatever sanctions the national parties were going to put on the state on the state party if they moved them up any earlier.
Yeah, my limited knowledge of the subject, I think the national committees, especially from the Republican Party, want to try to discourage a lot of states from trying to compete with Iowa and New Hampshire, basically protect the 4 early primary states, Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and I'm forgetting one other, South Carolina, and then everybody else. I think they're trying to do sanctions with taking away delegates and that sort of thing to try to weaken their power if they move up before March. But that's obviously something to talk to the leaders over the party. They'll know better than anybody. Yes, sir.
Also, another completely different subject. Does Power Texas have any opinions on the candidates for the RPT chair?
We do not get involved in any of the party races, no, sir. Any other questions? Going once? Twice? All right, well, thank you all for coming. Don't forget to any latecomers to sign up in our sign-up sheet in the back.